Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scrapyard. This is episode 5. We missed you last week. We were both busy. It was just wasn't going to work out, but we're back. We're ready. We're here to talk about some great fights. And the first thing we want to talk about, Wanderlei Silva got knocked out by a civilian.
And a civilian, it was an interesting fight just to begin with. And yes, we are sorry we missed you last week. Been a busy week. And Aiden, it's great to see you. I know we're going to talk about a lot today, but
good seeing you too, buddy.
I hope none of us ever have to go through what Wanderlei just went through. That match was a weird fight. I know that they had weird contracted weights. It was a boxing match, and it went haywire fast.
Yeah, didn't he weigh like 40 pounds more than the guy he fought or something?
Yeah, and there was some tweets out there that were saying that he missed weight. I actually don't think he missed weight. To my knowledge, he was part of the contracted agreement that he would weigh more. And based off the result, it didn't quite matter.
In the beginning of the video, you can see him. He gets hit in the back of the head and kind of buckles, and he's wobbled for sure. And then I think that other punch just obviously clearly put him out fully. But it looked like the brawl started because of like a headbutt or something.
Yeah. And it was interesting. They were getting dirty. I mean, Wanderlei was using his size up against the ropes, and he was throwing shoulder strikes that kind of turned into headbutts. I mean, neither are legal in boxing.
Yeah.
It went haywire quick.
Well, Wanderlei has spoken in the past about how he does feel like through his fighting career, he has developed a traumatic brain injury and some form of CTE, and he thinks he has symptoms of it. So the fact that he's even still fighting when he is knowledgeable of that is pretty sad. It makes me sad, at least. Wanderlei's always been like kind of a crazy animal, though. One now. I can't let you get close. But I still feel bad for the guy. Also, the brawl was in a way his fault. He was throwing all the dirty strikes and stuff, but I still don't think he deserved to get knocked out full. Like, it should have just been separated. The fight should have just been stopped.
Well, and first and foremost, I mean, those are the cornermen in the team of both of them that are in there scrapping. So, I mean, At the end of the day, there's something about respect and professionalism. And, I don't know this promotion, to be completely honest. So this could be something maybe that's normal for what they do. Maybe they typically have big teams and less security. But at any promotion I've ever been involved with or seen from the outside view, I've never seen anything like this. And I think it's one of those situations where it's unfortunate because, like you said, Wanderlei probably shouldn't have been in there in the first place. We probably should not be booking him in the future. And all of these people are adults. They should have handled themselves like adults. And it was pretty upsetting to see.
Yeah, I agree with the situation. Now, real quick, but before we move on from, I guess, kind of influencer boxing in a way, I do want to talk very quickly about something I just remembered. We didn't plan about talking about this, but the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight was originally going to be held in Miami, Florida.
No, it was originally going to be in Georgia.
Oh, was it Georgia? And now it's in Miami, Florida?
Yeah. The Georgia Commission had issues with the weights.
And they had issues with the weights because obviously Tank fights at like what?
135, 145. Yeah.
And Jake Paul fights at like 195, 200, like something like that. So the fight is.
I've seen Jake Paul as 185 in boxing, and that was a few years back.
Yeah,
I would imagine he walks around somewhere around 220.
Yeah. Well, and this fight is taking place with a max weight of 195. So I'm assuming they specifically said max weight. So I'm assuming Tank will not be 195. And Jake Paul will be 195 exactly.
Well,
I was arguing with one of my buddies
about that when they announced that at the press conference. Tank was like, "I thought we said 190."
Yeah, but I was arguing with one of my buddies about this, and he was like, because he was calling me a hater and shit because of I'm like, it's making a joke out of combat sports, and he's calling me a hater. I'm like, well, the rules are gonna be stupid, and I was right. The rules are stupid. And he texted me and he was like, well, he watches this show too, so he'll see this. But he was like, well, the rules aren't that bad. I'm like, they're fighting in 12-ounce gloves. Normal boxing fights are 8-ounce. So there's that.
Exhibition. Doesn't even count the records.
It's an exhibition. They said that the rounds will be scored, so there will be a definitive winner, but it's an exhibition, so it will not affect their pro record as far as we know.
10 rounds. So without any states, you could still see a draw.
Yep, it's 10 rounds. It's not the typical 12 you would see. It's just it's a joke. Let's be honest, it's a joke. Like fight, like you know, and I look. I will come to Jake Paul's defense a little bit because if you look, what Jake Paul has done in his career is the same thing every other boxer has done in his career, is fight guys that are not super good to build up their record. He's just fighting guys with prevalent names in order to sell more pay-per-views. So really, if you think about it, it is smart. I'm not hating on that. What I'm hating on is some of the people he's picked and then how he's acted afterwards. An old retired Mike Tyson, right? Way smaller than you. Like even if you KO Gervonta Davis cold.
Robinson.
Yeah, if you KO Gervonta Davis cold, I'm gonna like, to me that's the same equivalent as a win over a journeyman in boxing because of the weight discrepancy. You know what I mean? Like
Can I rebuttal here?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I want to say I'll take it two different ways, because I want to get Jake's side and I also want to get the rest of the world side, because I think there's multiple sides to every story, right?
Yeah.
So look at Jake, and he was fighting basketball players and MMA fighters, and you're absolutely right. I mean, he's doing what every other fighter coming up in the boxing career does. But the thing that he's doing different is he's the one headlining. He's the one selling the show.
Yeah.
He's not just one fighter getting paid pennies on the dollar like the rest of the fighters. He's the big ticket item. So obviously there's going to come that additional level of scrutiny. And so I understand where the world's coming from. Like, oh, fight someone your own size, fight someone your own weight, fight someone your own skill or age even. But at the end of the day, you can only fight who's in front of you. So I'm going to defend Jake there. And I think also we have to remember that his last fight was not 10 rounds. So this is more rounds for him. This is another step in his career. And to counter everything that I just said as well, or to add to it, well, Gervonta Davis is by far the most talented boxer, regardless of size.
That he's fought, for sure, yes.
And I'm a Tank Davis guy. I'm from Baltimore. Tank Davis is from Baltimore, so I've got to support the boy.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Tank Davis has hands. And
he does, yes.
Paul get hit.
Yes.
Jake Paul is very good with his jab when he can stay technical and out athleticism and size people. He is yet to get hit on the chin by a Mack truck of a right hand. And I honestly have been more fearful of this fight for Jake Paul as someone who, honestly, I'm admittedly a Jake Paul fan. I'm a Jake Paul believer in the boxing world. I'm more scared of this fight for Jake Paul than any fight before. Tommy Fury, even the potential, he was talking about fighting Anthony Joshua before this fight. I think Tank is just as dangerous to him, if not more dangerous, because of the speed aspect than Anthony Joshua was, where I think Jake would have been able to get around the ring. So I think that there's multiple sides and angles that you could take. But I think at the end of the day, we should be happy that another big card is going to be out there on a big platform like Netflix, giving big money to the athletes. Yeah. And so I'm going to take all the scrutiny away. And awesome.
I have nothing against Jake Paul boxing. I actually do think he is, like, if you watch him box, like, he's not a scrub into, like, he would beat up any, he is, I do think he has pro boxing level skill. Does he have high level world champion pro boxing skill? That's yet to be seen. But when I say he has pro boxing skill, that every pro boxer is a pro boxer, right? Like they're good enough to be pro. But you look, there are guys that are pro boxers that are journeymen that are 0-15. They'd still smoke any amateur, right? But Absolutely. It's just against other pros, they're just not that same level. It's the same thing as when you look at, like, the NBA versus like some random Lithuanian basketball league. Like they'll smoke anybody that's not pro, but they go against an NBA guy, they're going to get smoked. It's like that same kind of thought process, right? So Jake is still fighting guys that are good, and even when he fights MMA guys, they're still guys with a lot of experience. So
who have boxed for years and years.
I just want the weird rules to go away. That's my real thing. Like I want to see pro records. Because I would like to see Jake Paul slowly fight better and better, which to his credit, he pretty much has. But some of the rule sets and stuff, and I feel like he's been favored a little bit in that aspect. And I would rather see him just fight like your typical pro boxing record and be potentially, dude, you know how much tickets it would fucking sell if he actually fought for a title and deserved to fight for a title? Like if he beat a couple guys in the top rankings and like undisputedly deserved a shot at the title, how many people would fucking tune into that? It would be insane.
Well, I think he's working his way close there because I think the big key of everything you said is he is
boxing's money.
He's a real boxer, and I think yes, boxing is money, and so who else is there for him to fight right now, right? Like, and really at this point, you're talking about
he'll fight for a title at some point. There's already been several guys who have been like, I'll fight him.
Yeah. Well, and I think for him, it's going to be it's going to be the promotional aspect, because they have to work with the promoters and whatnot. And obviously he's running his show and it's going to be on Netflix. So there's a lot of legal stuff there. I think when you look at it, I think you're right. I think he's building his way up to a fight with maybe a Darren Till in a co-promotion with Misfits. I know Darren Till's currently out of a contract and could maybe do a fight with them now. Andrew Tate.
I actually think the Darren Till fight is good. I think Darren Till, out of anyone in the influencer space, is the most dangerous fight for Jake.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? I'll say this because I think Darren probably beats him, and I think it'd be a really fun fight with unbelievable buildup. Darren Till knows how to sell a fight.
Darren Till looks so good.
If we're talking British boxers, because Darren Till now is a boxer, if we're talking British boxers, I'd rather see him refight Tommy Fury and get that fight back.
I don't think Tommy Fury is going to box anymore.
You don't think so?
He hasn't been training. He's been like running marathons. Like he hasn't fought since he fought KSI. I think he's done.
I gotta correct you. Running.
Correct. Yes, he's not. I mean, hold on.
Well, and not only is
I guess I was using the term running pretty loosely there, but
I do also want to add that race in particular, I believe was a triathlon, and there are no records of him doing the biking or swimming portion.
He just ran. That's funny.
So, or at least
I don't like Tommy Fury.
Don't check my sources. Leave it down in the comments.
No, I'm just gonna believe you. Source, I made it up.
Source, I saw it on Twitter, and I might be slightly misquoting.
Source, I saw it in my dreams.
Yeah, but regardless, I think there's a lot for Jake, and I think there's going to be a lot of fun stuff, and Netflix is definitely going to promote it out the wazoo.
Speaking of UFC, excuse me, UFC Perth.
What a card it was, and let's first talk about what the heck was the UFC doing. It's 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm excited, dinner in front of me, ready to watch the fights. The broadcast comes on, and they say, live here from Perth, Western Australia, it is 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's why ticket sales were so bad for this fight. Everyone was talking about ticket sales like they had to lower prices to get people to buy. No shit, it's set. Who's waking up at like 5 a.m. like I'm ready to go watch UFC live? Nobody.
Yeah, me, but
I'm
not people to fill the stadium.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, no. Especially like okay. I mean, I'm glad it was at a reasonable time for me to watch, right? Of course, but I would rather it be set in the local time, like wherever the fight is happening. I think that just makes more sense, right? Like,
yep.
I would be so pissed off if they came to Seattle and the fight was at like 5 a.m. I'd be like, really?
Yeah, and I get it. The market's America. They're trying to get to the Americans.
Yeah.
But you're trying to sell tickets in Australia.
And it's a fight night, so it's not like you're missing out on pay-per-view buys.
Yeah. And they'll do it for Saudi Arabia, but they won't do it for England or Australia. It's just very interesting to me.
Them Saudis, dude. Oh, I got opinions on that. Anyways.
Well, I've got opinions on these fights, and I think that's
UFC Perth! There were originally, I think, 16 or 17 bouts scheduled for this card, and it got whittled down to like 12 with Justin Tafa's fat ass missing weight again. Oh, this guy. Come on, man. The Tafa brothers are both fat slobs.
He got ill cutting weight and had 8 pounds left. Louis Sutherland, the poor guy, was ready to make his UFC debut, and just last minute, Justin Tafa just said, hey, I'm not about that today.
I hope they still gave him his show money.
I would imagine they did. If he made weight, if you make weight, you do. So as long as he made weight, they would. And he did say that he's ready to fight soon. So he's hoping to get back in it.
Yeah. Fuck it.
But let's talk about some of the fights that did happen here. The first fight of the night was honestly a banger. Loma Lookboonmee, if you know her.
That's a dope-ass last name. Lookboonmee.
She's Thai. Obviously, that means she's a Muay Thai striker. She's got so many matches. Honestly, if the UFC had an atomweight division, she would be at 105. She's been fighting up at a very high level at 115, taking on Alexia Tainara. I believe she trains with Amanda Ribas, I want to say. Regardless, she's a wild woman. She came with output. Loma Lookboonmee was throwing some crazy body kicks. And Alexia Tainara was eating it, taking it to the ground, throwing heavy hands, ground and pound for days, looking for probably every choke that she's ever learned. triangles, arm bars, rear nakeds. I mean, everything that she could get to. And Loma survived. It was a really tough decision win. And Alexia Tainara looks like a future ranked strawweight. So that fight was really, really fun. I know you didn't really get a chance to watch those earlier fights, so I'll just keep running through these.
Yeah, go for it.
Tainara is a name to watch. And I'll also say Brando Pericic, if I said that right. He's also one to watch. This fight was originally supposed to be on Dana White Contender Series with the need for heavyweights and the fact that Brando is Australian, training out of City Boxing. Excuse me. They put this on this card. And Brando showcased why. He took the American Lisa Ellison. I don't want to say it wrong, so we'll just call him Ellison. He took him out quick. Came with the pressure. First round finish. Love that. And then we go to another local in Michelle Montague, who trains with Kayla Harrison, comes from the PFL, has always fought at 145. And now she makes her 135 debut in her hometown. Well, not hometown, home country, or home region, maybe is probably the appropriate way to say it.
Something like that.
But making her UFC debut, bantamweight debut, all of the above against a really tough Luana Carolina. Luana is a girl that you know if you've been watching for a while. And Luana gave her a tough fight. She opened her up with an elbow early, and there was so much blood, but Michelle Montague worked through it, kept the grappling pace and pressure going. Luana slowly started slowing down, and Michelle Montague, just like Alexia Tainara, never stopped throwing, was very aggressive, and got a really dominant victory. So those were the first three fights of the night. Three really, really fun scraps. But I know you want to talk about this next one, and we have differing opinions. So I'll let you take over from here.
I don't particularly think we have differing opinions on how the fight maybe should have gone.
Okay.
I just know that one of my influencer buddies picked Colby Thickness as his dog of the week. As his dog of the week, and he got the win. So I'm happy for my buddy. That's all.
Yeah, and you know, watching that fight, you know, Mousasi looked really good early, and then Thickness got it to the ground, and it was clear that there was a levels difference on the ground. And for Thickness, he started to slow down. Mousasi kept it on the feet. Round 2 looked really good, and then round 3 happened, and Mousasi started off hot until that low blow. And that 4 minutes that it took for him to get ready to fight after that low blow completely changed the fight. I thought Mousasi still looked really good for a minute or two and landed a lot of damage coming out of that. And in my opinion, it should have been enough for Mousasi to win the third round. With that said, they gave rounds 1 and 3. And it was unanimous. So Mousasi, a guy I really, really liked on Contender Series, is now 0-2.
It happens, brother. It happens. You know, you can't see
this. It was a tough fight. It happens. And I guess we have to shout out Thickness is Volkanovski's main training partner. So he obviously has worked with some really high level guys to get where he is today.
Type shit, no cap. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no cap.
Continuing.
And this one we'll talk about quickly because it was your traditional Rolando Bedoya fight. I mean, Jamie Malarkey. And a traditional Jamie Malarkey fight. Let's be real. I mean, Jamie Malarkey threw his jab, came with his right cross, took a lot of punches to the chin, and worked his wrestling. And he won rounds 1 and 2. Bedoya, as he normally does, gets hit a lot, lost rounds 1 and 2, but never got tired, never stopped trying. And in round 3, Malarkey was tired, and Bedoya had him on the ropes. And, I mean, there were a couple of moments where if Bedoya could land a few combos, that fight could be over quick. So, shout out to Jamie Malarkey for pulling it off. Again, another Australian winning in his hometown, but not an easy fight for him. But let's move to Cam Ralston versus Andre Petroski. I'm a big fan of Andre. He was actually my first ever interview, not just MMA interview, not just UFC fighter interview. First time I ever did an interview without any practice with Andre Petroski. I love the guy, Philly guy, trains with a lot of my friends up in Philly, and unfortunately for him, the short notice fight on Australia was not the best move for his career, probably. Cam Ralston is a very, very large man for welterweight. And at the end of the day, Petroski doesn't have the best chin. We've seen it time and time again where a perfectly timed shot can really affect him. And that's what happened here. Ralston was able to land some ground and pound and get him out of there and ended it quick. Really impressive win for Ralston, who, after losing last year on Dana White Contender Series to, I believe, Torres Finney, getting out wrestled, he's now showcasing his striking, and he does have a grappling threat. So Cam Ralston is an Australian to watch.
Fair enough.
And I don't know when you started watching. Was this the first one you were able to get to?
I didn't even watch this one. I just have a like burning hatred for Rodolfo Bellato.
Talk to us about it.
Not an actual burning hatred.
Give us details. We need more.
It's just having a 1-1-1-1 record in the UFC is crazy. He has a win, a draw, a no contest, and a loss.
And I believe he's the only one that's ever done that before.
He's got to be. There's no way that's like a normal thing that just happens. But anyways, it's, I don't know, man. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of him when he did that horrific acting job when he fought Craig. Yeah. Oh, it was bad. Dude, it was so bad. It was so bad. I hated it. Like, he looks at the ref and then goes, oh, wait, I can win the fight if I just... And then he didn't anyways. It was a no contest. So,
and what's super unfortunate is his highlights in LFA are unreal. He has such a crazy highlight tape, and he looks like a scary guy. Like, he looks like someone I would not want to be in a cage against. And people like being in the cage against him, I guess, in the UFC. Now, I will say this.
Poopy.
And he probably has one more fight with the UFC too, so they're probably not getting rid of him yet. But I will say Navajo, he's kind of like Goldberg, where he's pretty low output, but he's got heavy hands. And he was able to just outpace him to decision, but he needs to do more work if he wants to, have that long-term success and reach the highest levels of the light heavyweight division.
Fair enough. Main card. What's up with all the people on this card with little spots of their hair dye? We got this guy. We got the first.
Bedoya had it. Tainara, and her hair was sick. She had like lizards on the side of her hair. I don't know what they were. They're like green and yellow. They kind of look. They were really cool looking.
Everybody's just terrible haircut. Anyways, Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. I didn't watch this one, but
yeah. And you know what? I have to say, this was the fight that I had highlighted.
Yeah.
So I'm upset you didn't watch this because this ended up being everything I hoped it to be, and then maybe some more. Where obviously we know both of them honestly have some chin issues. Tom Nolan had a little bit of a chin problem. Charlie Campbell got chinned on the Dana White Contender Series before getting back to the UFC. And honestly, when we start this fight, obviously the crowd's pro Tom Nolan, but Charlie Campbell's destroying him. Charlie Campbell's destroying his legs, heavy leg kicks, landing the right hand on the chin, and Tom Nolan's wearing it. I mean, he's getting a little red, but he's wearing it well. And after about the 2-minute mark, Tom Nolan hit him with a little counter hook, and everything changed. And Tom Nolan ended up getting his first ever submission win. Really impressive. He hopped on the back, took the choke, and it was over pretty quickly once he got there. But first ever submission win for a really dangerous striker out of Australia. I believe that was every Australian so far has won. And Tom Nolan continued the trend against a really tough guy in Charlie Campbell. That was an unbelievable fight for as long as it lasted, and sign me up for either of these guys. Next fight, I'll be tuning in for it.
Fair enough. The next fight, Jake Matthews, Neil Magny. This one had some controversy.
If that's what you would call it. I mean, a ref making a mistake, a really bad, egregious mistake. If that's controversy, then I guess so.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know how it wouldn't be controversy, but was it the end of round 1 or 2 that it happened?
The end of the first round.
End of the first round. Jake Matthews had Neil Magny in it was a guillotine, wasn't it?
Yep. And it was interesting because he started on the bottom and then he rolled it over to get on top. I mean, really impressive grappling from Jake.
And Neil Magny he had his hand up and then he kind of like went like this, but his arm was still like in the air, right? Ref comes in and as soon as the ref's like, oh, it's done, the round ends. And Neil Magny looks at the ref. He's like, I'm good. He gets right up, protested, and then the ref just goes, fight's still on. And Jake Matthews was pissed, but then Neil Magny goes on to get a submission of his own in the third round. And I loved Twitter. It was like classic Neil Magny, get your ass beat for 2 rounds until they're tired of beating your ass and then beat them. I was like, perfect.
And it was interesting because the second round, Neil didn't do anything differently than he did in the first round. And in the third round, it was like he just flipped a switch. Like, I don't know what his corner said to him, but whatever they said to him in the third round, he came out and was aggressive and getting Jake Matthews against the cage and winning the grappling exchanges. And then by the time it got to the ground, it was already over. It looked eerily familiar to the Mike Mallet fight where he just waits and waits and waits, finds his opportunity, and he doesn't miss. And I will say this before we move on. He's in sole possession now of the second most wins in UFC history. He stepped ahead of Cowboy Cerrone.
He has more wins than John Jones. Just
saying.
Go
Just
home, go home, chew on that a little bit, and then tell me who your GOAT is now, okay?
Jim Miller, if you ask me, because
fact,
Magny's got
it's
3 more wins to catch up.
This fight, I caught a little bit of this one. Crazy hairdo on Tavares. Is it Tavares?
I believe it's Tavares fighting out of Jacksonville, Florida. Duval.
Oh, don't do that. Duval.
No, and I live in Orlando, so I've been to all the Jacksonville cards. I have to say, I join in on the Duval chants when I'm in Jacksonville. It's lit, little cringy when you're on the other side of it. But Ramon Tavares missed weight, and he looked a little bit tired, a little flimsy around the edges. And Jack Jenkins just utilized his kicking game, his striking to the max. I mean, obviously, he was a pretty big favorite in his hometown. Another win. Obviously, Jake Matthews was the first hometown guy to lose, but another win for the hometown crowd. It was a fun fight, though. Ramon Tavares is a good boxer. Jack Jenkins has really good kicks. It was fun, but pretty clear.
Fair enough. Jimmy Crute looked good.
You were able to watch this one.
I did. He looked, I mean, I don't have much to say other than I turned around and the fight was over. It felt like. I turned around and he was sitting next to Ivan with his arm over his shoulder, consoling him. And I was like, what the fuck? Did I miss it? Like, what? This always happens to me. I'll turn on a fight and I go like this. I'm like, oh, hey, babe, can you? And I look back and I'm like, really?
It's over? What'd I miss?
Yeah. Yep. Same thing happened on the main event, by the way, which we'll talk about in a second. But
I have to say, same with me. I turned around. Next thing you know, Dom's on the floor. But we'll get there. I have 2 things to say about this fight. One, Jimmy the Brute Crute. He's looked unreal since coming back. I mean, just absolutely unreal. This new God and Jesus loving version of Jimmy Crute since retiring it's a completely different fighter. I mean, obviously he still has his grappling background and his just natural physical capabilities, but I mean, this guy's just crazy. He's really, really good when he's on. Now, the other thing I have to say is Ivan Arslan, kind of confuse him for Ivo Aslan. Neither of them should probably be in the UFC. I think this was Ivan's 3rd loss. He's 0-3 now. So I'm not so certain that he deserved to be in this co-main event to begin with. But I think it was a good fight, and I was happy to see Jimmy win.
Fair enough. The main event now, as we both said, I was playing. I'm a big NBA 2K guy. I play a lot of 2K. I'm playing 2K. And I was getting fucking sold by my teammates, okay? I was carrying and they were selling me. So I was watching the fight on my phone because I was playing on my PlayStation, right? So my monitor was taken up. So I have it set down here. I'm looking down, but then when I have the ball, I'm focusing. My teammates are selling me, right? So I pull my mic out on my headset. I'm screaming at them. I look down and Dominic Reyes is dead. He's dead. His lifeless body's laying there. I'm like, no! Oh, I wanted Dom to win. I was talking about it on my TikTok. I was like, the title run continues. I had to make a video last night. I was like, the title run's over. It's gone.
If he won, he would have gotten that title shot.
Yeah, I don't know what the game plan was, but it wasn't good.
No, and the problem for Dom was Carlos is a very good counter striker. So Dom, who wants to counter strike, needed to draw punches out, and he was not doing a great job of drawing punches out from Olberg. Yeah. And so it led to Dom being first, and Dom has a weak chin, and he leaves it up in the air, and it happens again, unfortunately, for a guy who is having an unbelievable resurgence.
I think the best thing for Dominic Reyes at this point is probably just get another win or 2 and then call it quits. You don't want to take too much punishment.
Yeah, I mean,
especially because he's been knocked out pretty brutally a couple times now.
And he's 35, so at light heavyweight, you can fight into your late 30s, but I would definitely imagine that he is closer to the end of his career than the start of his career. And
I think he could beat Jamal Hill. I mean, that fight.
I think it would be a fun fight. And Jamal's obviously had his issues of late. So that would be something that would be fun. You know, guys come off big losses.
Yeah, that's who I actually put him against. I think it gives Jamal Hill a chance. You know, he's fighting someone who's a little chinny, so he could get the highlight reel, you know. But at the same time, Dominic Reyes, I think, is the better technical striker, right? Jamal Hill has horrible footwork. So I could see Dominic getting chin because he's just chinny, but I think Dominic Reyes wins that fight based off technical skill.
And I think Dom can also win not that it would go to the mats, but if it got to the mats, I think Dom would be able to beat Jamal Hill there.
I think I could beat Jamal Hill on the mats. But anyways, we wanted to talk about the big three. We've got the main event, which is Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev 2. We've got the co-main, which is Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen, and we've got the featured, the main card fight, whatever you want to call it, which is Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. Big implications for the light heavyweight division, obviously, because not only do you have the title fight, but potentially on the same card, the guys who could be fighting for the title next. So very interesting. Let me hear your opinions on Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira.
Well, first I want to say, I think you're right. There is a potential championship implication on the Prochazka-Khalil Roundtree fight. But I want to say, I don't think Khalil gets the title fight if he's the one that wins.
I think Yuri does, though.
I think that changes things. I think if Khalil wins, I think that fight goes to Olberg. I think Olberg beating Dom Reyes is a big win. It might not be the big win.
He is third in the division as well. So,
yeah, but I think Magomed Pereira, obviously everybody saw the beef that they had. Pretty funny. Neither of them know what they're saying to each other.
Yeah, they're going like this. Blah, 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 blah. And then the other guy goes, blah, 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 and then...
And it's just slightly awkward. It's like...
And then they speak. They each have like a couple words of English. Like Magomed Ankalaev is walking away. He goes, 4th October. And Alex Pereira just goes, Shama. Yeah. Fucking stupid. It's
been interesting, Alex Pereira saying, oh, do I keep the hair? Do I wear my yellow trunks or my custom trunks? It's like, this is very un-Alex Pereira-like.
Yeah. Normally he's much more stoic.
With that said, Alex Pereira was hurt the last time they fought. He said he was about 40%. Yeah. Let's just say he was 80%, and let's just say he's overestimating that and using it as an excuse. He only needed 5 or 10% more of himself to get the win last time. It was a really close fight. So I'm going Alex Pereira, and I actually think it's going to be a very, very different fight. I think he might be able to knock out Ankalaev or at least hurt him a little bit more than he did last time. I think the leg kicks are going to be big for him. I got Alex Pereira and tying this up and maybe seeing a trilogy.
I think, number one, I think if Alex Pereira wins, I think the UFC will do whatever they can to avoid a trilogy and a chance at Magomed Ankalaev becoming champ again.
They probably want Tom Aspinall versus Pereira if they can.
But I think so. Magomed Ankalaev in the last fight was in the midst of Ramadan.
Good point.
So he was also not at 100%, right? So I think I want Alex to win. I want to pick Alex, but I'm gonna go with Magomed for my prediction. I think Magomed wins it, and I think the reason why is I think we're either going to see two things from Alex Pereira. I think he's either going to be gun shy like he was in the first fight and get outstruck like he did in the first fight because he's just gun shy. He's afraid of the takedown, and he defended the takedown great, but because he was so afraid of it, or we'll see Alex Pereira like he normally is, throwing, in which case he may open up for the takedown. And not that Magomed Ankalaev is going to take him down and submit him, but he might take him down and just kind of hold him there and win by control time. Kind of like he did in the last fight where, yes, he did outstrike him, but he really won with all that cage control time, right? So
that's the only thing that won him the fight, because there were 3 rounds where Pereira did more damage, maybe even 4, but 2 of which the control was just that much more detrimental.
So I think Magomed has a chance to win that way. Now, of course, Alex Pereira, left hook from hell, that guy can put you out in any way, shape, or form. And if he's able to keep the distance, work with the leg kicks, body kicks, even head kicks, I could see him winning. But what I think he needs to do is trust his takedown defense, right? He's been drilling it. He did good in the first fight.
He has Glover in his corner.
Even if you get taken down, I don't think Magomed Ankalaev is going to hunt for submissions like a lot of other guys would. Maybe he will, but I don't see it. So I think he needs to just fight his normal fight. I think he needs to work on keeping the hands up a little more because Magomed is fast. He's fast for a light heavyweight. But trust your takedown defense and go out there and strike with him because you are the better overall striker, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that. I kind of chimed in there. I think the big thing for Alex is he has Glover. I mean, Glover's the guy who's been there, done that. And Alex has been on the mats training everything, or I should say Alex. So regardless, I think Alex will be ready. I think the one thing that I would like to maybe correct you or maybe argue, I don't want those words sound a little too aggressive for my liking, but regardless, the one thing I maybe like to counter your thoughts with is I don't know if Alex is scared of the takedown. I just think he has a sense of urgency, which I'd like to see a lot of other fighters who are striking based have. I think he knows that he's going to win the fight more times than not on the feet, and he knows he's going to lose it more times than not on the ground. So I think he just has that urgency. And I think that's smart. So
yes, but in the first fight, he didn't he didn't show that. I mean, he only landed 11.
Being patient.
He landed 11 significant strikes to the head in the first fight, right? Like that's what I mean. He was gun shy. Was it because of injuries? Was it because he was scared of the takedown? I think a little bit of both, probably. But he was too gun shy. He was too.
Yeah, and I just do think sometimes people forget that he is a patient counter striker. That's a kickboxer. He finds his range and then he goes from there. And when you're fighting a grappler, it changes everything.
Absolutely, but 11 head strikes in a 5-round fight,
not enough.
No, not enough. So he needs to throw more. And he just needs to do more, I think, because Magomed is going to be capable of holding him against the cage.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's my thing. But moving on, Corey Sandhagen versus Murad Dvalishvili. What's your take on this fight? Who do you think wins that?
Well, from a very basic, granular, very high level perspective, I think both these fights are very similar.
Murad by wrestle fuck.
Or Corey. And I think the thing with Corey is I think Corey could hit that flying knee, right? Like, you know what Murad's going to do. So Murad's going to hug and hold. Well, Corey's got those long elbows, those long arms, those long knees. Like
Corey is a good grappler as well. Like he's not a bad grappler. So.
And he's quick and he has the size. With all that said, I do think it makes it hard to pick him against Murad because I think you're seeing the best version of Murad ever. He's finally getting finishes against the best of the best. Yeah. And he's already saying he wants to win this fight and face Peter Yan in December. He's not done yet. So I think when you look at Murad, you're looking at the best version that he's probably ever been and maybe will ever be because he's over on the wrong side of 30 now. So I think when you look at it, it's a really tough fight because stylistically, I typically would be looking at a guy like Corey and saying this is a guy that could give Murad a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. But I think Murad might be able to use the leverage that he's going to have by being the smaller guy and get underneath Corey and maybe work his way to the back. I actually think he might be able to choke out a Corey Sandhagen, which is probably going against any statistical metrics that would state that. But I don't know. I think it's a really interesting fight. I would lean Murad, but I don't want to count Corey out by any means.
I think it will be a competitive fight. I think it will be a decision. And I think it will probably be 3 rounds to 2 I think I could see the first 2 rounds going to Sandhagen. And then I could see Murad's cardio and wrestling really taking over in the final 3, right? But I could also see a world where, I mean, there's always a chance Corey gets the flash knockout, right? Always a chance, right?
But it's a chance.
I think more realistically, I think Murad's probably going to do what he did to guys like Peter Yan, Umar. Like, I just think it's going to be more of the same, right? I think maybe we might see like just another Umar versus Murad where it's like it's competitive, but Murad still got the clear win kind of thing. But I am going to pick Murad. I just think Murad has all the tools to beat anyone in that division. I think he is the bantamweight GOAT in my opinion.
Well, if he isn't now, he will be after another win.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I'm going to pick Murad. I think decision. If he wins, I think it'd be cool if he hunts for some finishes. I'd like to see Murad get some finishes. But Khalil Roundtree, Yuri Prochazka, I'm going to pick Yuri Prochazka. Yuri Prochazka's defense has shored up a lot. His head movement's gotten better. We've seen that in his last fight. We've seen in his new training footage, he's keeping his hands up, which he never used to do. I think that limits the chances for Khalil Roundtree to really find Yuri's chin. And I think Yuri has more tools than Khalil, especially on the ground. I think Yuri could take this to the ground and then give Khalil Roundtree some issues. But that's just my thoughts. What are yours?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my thoughts are very similar to yours. I'm a big Khalil Roundtree fan. And I think for Khalil Roundtree, a lot of the times, guys like Yuri who have their styles the way they do, it works for Khalil because that body kick, dangerous. That kick can then come upstairs, and then he can come with that left overhand too. So that's really dangerous. But I don't think he's faced guys like Yuri who, have taken a hit and multiple hits and beatings and still come back and won. And I don't think he's fought someone with the footwork and motion of Yuri. And I think it's going to make Khalil a little bit gun shy to swing. So I also like Yuri. Yuri's
also very creative.
Yes. and he throws from weird angles. So I think he'll be able to find a way to land and make that play, get what he needs to. But I do think it edges Yuri, but it's a very hesitant pick because Khalil has the power that can change any fight.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think. Sorry, I'm yawning. 1 second. I think based upon they both fought Jamal Hill. I think Yuri had the more impressive fight with Jamal Hill.
Yeah, they both had very impressive wins.
They were both very impressive, but I think Yuri's was more impressive. And I think that based upon the way that those fights went, I think Yuri gets it done. And I just like Yuri. Let's go for that. But
and you know what?
I'm coming.
I'm coming.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome, dude.
I will say with Yuri too, underrated. He will have the grappling advantage too.
Yeah.
So I don't think he uses it, but if it ends up on the mat, I think Yuri wins every scramble and every position.
Yeah, I agree. But that, I think, is all we have time for today. There's one tiny little thing I wanted to mention real quick.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor has come out and said that he's not negotiating with the UFC for this fight. He's negotiating with Trump and his administration, and he wants $100 million plus 100 golden visas, which roughly cost anywhere between $200K to $2 million per. So theoretically, he wants a total purse of upwards of $300 million. That's ridiculous. We might not see him on the card. That's what I want to end it with. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.